Last week on the show, we were talking about what should happen with the England managerial position. Obviously, at that point, we were going in to the game on Sunday. We'd just experienced what had happened against Greece, and we were reacting to that. And obviously, we hadn't sampled what we now know in the game on Sunday. And obviously, since then, we've now got a managerial appointment with Thomas Tuchel taking over the gig. I'm not going to really go into it too much, but last Friday, I was saying, listen, man, best man for the job. That's it. Just best man for the job. Doesn't have to be English. I'm not one of them that needed it to be English. Just best man for the job. We were throwing facts and stats around. I was very facts and stats happy towards English managers that have not achieved. And then there was a great facts and stat that came back to counter the argument where, well, nations that don't have a man that is the same nationality as the national team, winning big tournaments. It's only happened once in the Euros. So everybody's had their say this week. Yeah. Now that it's official, now that it's happened, where's your head at?
I'm still for the English manager. That's as simple as that. I'm not saying it's nothing to do with Tuchel. Be honest, although look, in some ways I'm grateful to an Italian manager that gave me my first England debut. But I still believe, because I've seen the processes of what happens at St George's and what they were aiming for, trying to get, trying to coach English managers to be better at the FA.
Are they doing that?
Well, yeah, they are. But it looks like it's just been thrown out the door now.
Why have they bottled it then?
Because
I know you said I kind of know why. They've built a process of which they seem to be happy with. Yeah. Why have they thrown it out?
I kind of know. Because they've got this batch of talented young men in that England team, right? So they want to go for a proven winner. Now, being a proven winner in the Premier League doesn't mean that you're going to be a proven winner at international football. But there's a good reference point. That. Do you know what I mean? There's a good reference point, and what maybe Southgate was lacking, and it came to the fore in these finals that we'd been in, semi-finals, was the bit of tactical nous which Tuchel possesses. Yeah. So I can understand why they've gone that route, but I still think maybe they think we're the English manager is probably a few years off of it until we get that person that can actually.
So will they return back
on
to
that
the plan?
level?
Do you think they'll return back to the plan?
I hope they do. Like, I just hope they do, because what are we doing all of this for? Like, going to the FA, and they set out this plan. By the way, it was a plan that was talked about years ago, and it takes a bit of nurturing to get to this point. And because we're so close right now, it's just a bit of a shame that it's been ditched now. But I can understand why they've done it, and it is what it is.
Do you think they panicked?
I just don't think there was that many options out there. Plus, Tuchel was available, and he obviously expressed that he wanted that job. And if you got a manager like that wants to do that off that ilk, you are going to have a look at it twice if there's nothing else better available. So I get it. I understand.
I agree with what you just said there regarding the best option. Where was the best English option? Where was it?
Well, but if you really wanted to go out and go and get the best English option, as we've now, it's come to light, read that what I thought was the best English option wasn't even approached. As in Eddie Howe and Graham Potter, they weren't even approached, and they've come out and said it. So that doesn't show me that they was willing for that. They didn't care about that English manager. So it looks like they have ditched the plan.
03717 2233 44. Raz, how are you, mate?
I'm alright, mate. You alright?
Yeah, good, man. What do you want to say, Raz?
Yeah, first time caller. Love the show, by the way. But yeah, I wanted to say, Tuchel is a good manager. Don't get me wrong here. But let me put this to you boys, yeah? What if he does win it, We'll all celebrate, party on the streets, all happy days. Yeah, but ultimately, there'll always be that stain. We'll have the Germans turn around to us and say, you only won it because you had one of our own. You couldn't do it yourself. I think that's where the connection and the push for Southgate was. We wanted him to win it, not, obviously, of course, for the country, but also because he was one of our own, We could get behind him fully. Why? Because he was, he's part of us. That's why we as a nation was getting behind him, Maybe not the best one of our own, but still one of our own. And that's where the root, I think that's where the root of it was.
But
I mean, that's the biggest problem we have as a nation. We can't.
It's like, look, I get what Raz is saying there. Like, so basically, what he's trying to say, like the connection, like even remember the World Cup, the waistcoats are out, all of that sort of stuff, right? That was brilliant. The Southgate waistcoats. Remember that?
Yeah.
It was just there was a lovely connection there. The place was jumping, the vibes were correct, but then obviously now there's not that connection. Now it's just business. You need to go and win.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, I know that we've had the romance and the serenading, and we've had like some good days supporting England, but now it's business time, and I think that's what a lot of people want. Just go and get the job done, and let's come. But the problem is as well, even if Tuchel does win it, it's still like 80% loaded. Do you know what I mean? It's not 100%. Do you know I'm going with that? It's not like as he said, it's like.
You think that if we win it, there's an asterisk next to it?
Yeah, in commas. Couldn't get done full English, mate. It wasn't a full English breakfast. Eh? It wasn't a full English breakfast, Keith.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying.
All right.
There was an
imposter. You're not using English sausage there, man. That's it.
Yeah, it's not English sausage.
There's a Frankfurter on there.
There's a Frankfurter on there.
What's going on?
Yeah, what is that? It's not full English. Hey, what's going on?
I get it.
Yeah? Do you know what I'm saying?
I do.
Okay. Maybe I'm being stupid, but
no, you're not. Listen,
I think I do have a point somewhere.
People are football is an emotional sport. People are emotionally connected to it, especially the English national side. You know, when Stuart Pearce whacks in that penalty in 1996, and you see the passion that he shows. When Ian Wright used to play for England, you used to see the passion that he used to show. All those things then resonate right through to the stand because people see a lot of themselves within the people that are on the pitch. Of course they do. And in the past, they've seen a representation of themselves in the dugout. That's what they've seen.
Yeah.
Whereas now, okay, I get it. People are looking at it and go, well, he ain't English and all this type of stuff. Listen, the cold, hard facts of this situation are that the English manager should be the best person for the job. Who is the best person for the job? Now, analyse where we are right now. Gareth Southgate has actually done a really good job to the point, but he had that flaw. He couldn't get us over the line, could he? He wasn't. I heard someone refer to it this week that he wasn't the closer. Thomas Tuchel's the closer. He's got a reputation of closing. Short periods, don't get me wrong. He goes in there, he blasts away, he gets it done, and then he bounces and goes somewhere else.
Can you?
He's got 18 months.
But can you translate that into international football? It's different.
We're going to find out.
Because
we're going to find
totally
out.
Different.
Because if you look at English managers, where are they? Where are the talented English managers that are used to closing?
Yeah, but that was kind of my point a couple of days ago when I was on radio. Like, I'm not saying that English managers have to be in the front line for the best Premier League jobs, but they're just nowhere near it. Not even in the Championship. I think there's like 15 foreign coaches in the Championship, so they're not really. And then
clubs aren't owned English anymore.
That's what I'm trying to say.
There's a lot of foreign ownership in clubs,
and this is what I'm trying to say. You go to other leagues, there are
infrastructures in place that are obviously home-based.
Yeah, and there has to be a certain amount of home-based products for that team.
Yeah.
And I think where we are as a Premier League is that, and it trickles down to the Championship, that we don't have a policy to say it has to be
business, mate.
Percentage owned of English contingency. We don't really have that. It's just business. And that is where foreign owners will not have any like loyalty towards like helping the English game develop. And that's the FA. That's what the FA has to work with. If you get where I'm coming from, I've got to be very careful how I say it.
I think you're wording it right. George, how are you?
Hello, yeah.
Yeah, I'm good, man. What do you want to say, George?
I would like to say, first of all, who does the FA answer to?
Exactly. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. And
whoever puts the money in.
But I've been listening to you, right? Because I can't have it, right? Nothing better. He's foreign, he's German. Nothing wrong with the man.
No.
Whatsoever, right? Right? Of the country, nothing, right? But who do the FA have the right to import a German?
I think there's a board.
Can I just say one last thing, right? I was standing there, my local, the other day. I walked in the door, right, and it come on the screen, right, that he was going to be the next England manager, right, and two old soldiers, one old soldier and his missus, come up and put the box on there for Poppy Day. Yeah. Have you switched me off?
No, I'm listening to you.
We're listening.
Yeah. They put there on Poppy Day, right? They've done what my granddad done, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to get emotional or all about that, right? But who do the FA answer to? When they get it wrong, who do they answer to? Is it a little club where they just say, well, don't do it again? Or is it like, well, okay, Bill, don't do it. You know what I mean? Who do they answer to?
Governing. I don't know if there's a governing body. I don't know if there's a governing body over the FA. I don't think there is. I just think they're just employed to try and source out the best for the job. And they've tried the approach of the 10-year plan or the 15, 20-year plan, and we have got close. But I think they've come to the conclusion that we need someone that can be a finisher. And I think Tuchel is a finisher. As simple as that, and that's where we're at the moment. We've got a good come on. Southgate wasn't. We didn't think Southgate was the best man for the job at the time when he got the job, did we?
No, but he did. He galvanised the country.
He galvanised the country. He got us close, but at least he got us close. Now we've got to breed someone, because now we know where we're at. Now we've got to breed an English manager that is a finisher as well. But how that's going to be possible when there's not enough English managers in the game, and I'm not having the scenario or what people are saying that all the English managers are rubbish. They're not really getting the opportunity.
Why are they not getting the opportunity?
Because as we go in, the owners are not from this country. They have no loyalty towards breeding the next best England manager. And they're not because there's so much money. Because there's so much money in the game. You go and get somebody that's a ready-made product.
Right.
You ain't got time to develop, so they want.
Well, that's not their job to develop. Exactly. That's their prerogative to get the results straight away.
And when it's like that, the ones that have aspirations and the ones that actually might have a little bit of talent to go to the top, might not get that opportunity because they're just not good enough just as yet. So
should those English managers maybe consider going abroad and learning their craft abroad?
Exactly. So now, but the other, so there's the carrot there. The other team, the other leagues, they're not bothered about that. They look at the barrier, the English, because we don't really learn other cultures and languages. Some people do, but there's not enough.
All right.
So that's where we have to work on ourselves a little bit and stop being a little bit too one-dimensional. We've got to open up that possibility of going to Spain, or if that is on the table. But I still think teams in other leagues look after their own first instead of going abroad. And where are you going to go for an English manager that's going to be at that level? Because they've not even proved themselves at the Championship level or even in the Premier League yet. So there's not enough. So there's a cap over English managers getting to that level to even be considered going abroad. And there's a few that have gone. There's been a few that has gone and done okay. But then,
and there's some that have failed miserably, aren't they?
Yeah, there has. So, but that's going to be like everywhere. You know, that'll be like everywhere. Like there's going to be some good ones, some bad ones, or bad experiences, and some good experiences. But we just need more out there trying to look for opportunities like that.
03717 22 33 44. Keep your calls coming in. We'll get you on the radio next.
The Sports Bar with Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy. Monday to Thursday nights from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.